G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Dejo the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at the Age of the Primes, Megatronus. Yes, the Fallen. For those of you who only know Megatronus from Transformers 1, he was not the noble 13th Prime as back movie made it out to be. This guy betrayed the others and sided with Unicron, becoming the first Decepticon, basically hell incarnate, and of course the wielder of the Requiem Blaster, and from where Megatron got his name from. So he does look damn good. As I said, he comes with his Requiem Blaster. He has his flame motif, which I'm sorry if you cannot have a proper Fallen without your flame motif. Now I am aware that they have done or doing an upgrade kit for this guy to add even more flames and weapons and stuff. Just like I said when I was thinking about getting the Vector Prime upgrade kit, I ultimately said bugger it and I left it alone. Honestly, this guy, in my opinion, doesn't need any improving. A little bit of foreshadowing, he did need a little bit of nail polish, but we'll get to that during transformation when I point that out. So like I said, he does come with his Requiem Blaster. He does come with this axe mace thing, which you can make into a staff, as you can see, and along with this sword. Honestly, I think that looks a whole lot better than having it individually in his hands. I don't know. Gives me a sort of a Predator vibe in some ways. Now, while I'm thinking of it, he does have more than a few 5mm ports. He has two back here, two here. Obviously, there's two under the Requiem Blaster. There's one here and here, holding these blast effects in place. There's two in here, holding these effects. There's also two here, which will attach later. Of course, we have the actual cannon. And I think that's it. So you have more than a few. I wouldn't have minded if there was some actual part effect spots, like the old War for Cybertron stuff, as long as they didn't screw up the paint deco like they did with Siege. Thank God. And he's not very holy either. He's not really gappy. Like there's a bit of a gap in the leg here, a bit of a gap in the bicep, but realistically, there's not real much in the way of gaps anywhere, which is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it, unless you count the gaps in the bottom of his feet, but that's more due to transformation. So let's start by pulling a few things off so we can actually get down to articulation. We will need that later, obviously, for transformation. Now, he does have, and I might as well do it now, just in case I forget it later and pull that apart. He does have this very long, if I can get it in there. He does have this very long sort of inner thumb piece that is more for holding the weapons. So just be aware of that. And of course, we can take these off, put them to the side, take these off, put them to the side. I think he's the one that has the most extra parts, excluding Megatronus, but that's only happens because of the transformation gimmick from his Apex mode. Also, this missile launcher comes in separate, so you have to plug it in, which I suppose you could pull it off and then put something else on there. So yeah, it looks really, really good. All right, let's get down to articulation. So head can do a full 360, can look up that far, look down that far. I think it's got a ball joint in it, so you can get a tiny bit of side to side. Arms can do a full 360. You have a butterfly joint, technically a double jointed butterfly joint, one here, one here. So you can actually get your arm very far forward. It's more for transformation, but you can obviously do that. In my case, you can also have it bent back, which is how I had my staff sword thing sitting. Arm goes out that far. I would be careful because this has a ratchet, which you can't feel, but I'm more worried about this joint here potentially breaking if you put too much effort into it. You have upper bicep rotation. You have an elbow bend that gets you that far. You have wrist rotation. You have a minor amount of hand wiggle, which is more for the ball joint in it. So you can do a little bit there. single jointed finger, which gets you typewriter fingers. Thumb obviously does not move. You have waist rotation. You have no ab crunch. You can lift these missile launchers out of the way for the side skirts. And I'll lift that up there. Suppose you could use that too there. Like, that's just really the rotation joint, but that's something more you could do with it, I guess. Anywho, leg goes up that far. It's friction, even though I swear it still feels like it should be ratcheted. That's definitely friction. So up that far, back that far, and that's only because of the hip, not the backpack. Knee bend gets you that far. Ankle tilt gets you way. And for the sake of transformation, if you, like I've done sometimes in the past, you may have accidentally forgot to flip the pelvis around. If your ankles are sticking out this way, then you haven't rotated the crotch properly and you haven't rotated the legs properly. Anywho, so there we go. Right, let's get down to transformation, and hopefully I'm not going to have to move this camera too much. So we're going to, and I just grab on the back of his hand, pop forward that, and there's your ball joint. Also, I want to show this, and I don't know what this specific detail's for. You've got that symbol there, there's a sword here, which is something like a monitor heart thing. There's nothing really anywhere else. So that just seems like a really, really, really weird thing. Suppose you could say that's a 5mm port there too, couldn't you? I know, it's weird. Actually, I'll leave the camera on so just in case, because the black might make it a little bit difficult to see. So fold that in, tab that in. Bring that out. Fold that in, tab that in. Now you might have to get your fingernail or whatever not in there to get that out. All right, so I'm going to do this now while I'm thinking of it so I don't forget. I'm going to rotate his waist, and I'm going to rotate below the knee on both sides. So that saves me a little bit of time for later. I'm going to pull out those arms. Don't be too harsh on them because you don't want them to break. You're going to reach under here and you're going to flip up. Okay, apparently that all decided to come with me instead, and that's probably because of one of the polishes I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger here, because I need to lift this up. So I put nail polish on these two ports. I will explain, tabs, I'll explain later. So that comes up. You can bring this down, and then you want to bring all this out as far as it'll go. You don't have to pull too hard on it, just enough to get it out. You're then going to flip up these pieces here. It seems like they should tab in, but it's just more that sits in place, like so. I'm going to rotate my arms a little bit, and we're going to go around to the back. You're going to flip out, and you do have tabs, 2 tabs here for these 2 ports to hold that in place. Then you're going to pull out, rotate here, and flip up, and just tab in. I think that there is a tab there. I'm just trying to find it. So yeah, this tab here goes into this port. So rotate and tab in. Now I point out these 2 also got nail polished. Now, like I said, it might be only my copy. I haven't transformed him a lot, but yeah, nail polish saves me a lot, honestly. So you're going to flip forward his chest, and you're going to rotate it around, rotate his head. And this is all going to go back, and then these 2 tabs are going to tab in the side here. You have these 2 ports. So sort of hinge here. So down, and it won't go all the way, and then fold that down. So it was out here. There's no real tab or anything. That just flattens out. Then we can bring these back, and like I said, you have this tab here that goes into this port, and same on the other side. I'm just giving it a squeeze. Mine would pop straight back out again, which that one's a little bit loose, but it's a lot tighter than it was. All right, so we're just going to flip up this piece here for now. We need to do the legs, but I'm going to lift up these missile launchers, and you may end up untabbing those pieces a little bit. There we go. All right, so the legs. you are going to just pull this down a little bit. You're going to pull back on the back of the leg, the track there. And I'm just trying to figure out where that tabs in. There's your tab there. I think it tabs in here. Flip up. Flip up. Oh, I just did a big no-no. I just did a big no-no. All right, so before you do that, if you haven't already, you want to flip up these pieces. They are locking pieces for those. I absolutely forgot. Flip that up, flip that down, and that tabs in place. So flip forward a bit, flip up, flip down. Now this is a slightly bit scary. You have to get this hinge to pop. You have to put a little bit of force in there, but just be careful. So, like so, and like so. I'm not comfortable doing that too many times. So, yeah, I will say don't do that too much, or you may very well snap his legs. Now, you're supposed to hook these hooks under his thighs, but I will get to that in a minute because they have a tendency to pop out as I'm doing transformation. So I'm going to drop his butt plate. So that's his butt plate. There's his crutch. I'm going to try... now, I'll do it the proper way and we'll see how that goes. So you have these two ports, which actually held the back pieces in. They're going to go down onto here. So the idea is I might have to put those leg joints into place. Otherwise, they're not going to line up. And they don't stick very well. I won't lie, they do not hold hook very well. I think that either the hooks needed to be deeper or something, I don't know. All right, so bring that down, tab it in. Right, now you have these two ports, these two tabs. Now, I keep saying that. It's going to be my second phrase along the lines of 1 second. It's going to be, okay, now, beg my pardon. So these are going to go into here. And if you extend all this, this is going to go into here. I now polished that too, but it wasn't as necessary. Now, here is the front of your tank. So your arms are going to be facing this way. Now, you're going to fold it in like so. Fold it in like so. Now, the instructions tell you to rotate these so they're facing this way. And honestly, I don't notice any difference because the idea is you put, I think it's on here, you put your flame effects on here, but that lines up pretty much the same too. So I don't really bother. I'm just going to leave that rotated the other way around. Plus, you don't see the holes in your forearms. So leave that how it is. We will get back to that again, but we will deal with this first. So this is going to come down and tab into here. And this is another reason I had to use the nail polish because these would not stay tabbed in. So bring that down. And then it's just a matter of being fiddly. And the worst thing is everything is in places which is difficult to see. It's more feel. So that's one. And I think I actually got the other one in too. And just gently push that middle bit down so it's nice and flat. And my legs or arms, shoulders, whatever, it never quite sits flat because I actually just untabbed that hook tab. I think it's the hooks here that it's not flat, but it'll do. All right, so we're just going to separate those for a moment, and then we're going to bring in the Requiem Blaster. You want to flip it open and extend. Now, of course, you can have an extended barrel if you want, but then you have gaps and things. This step, I don't quite understand why we do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. You push this back, so the port's at the back. There's a tab here. Oh, I think I get it now. Maybe I don't. Because honestly, that tab would just be for that. I've got the instructions next to me. I'm just curious. Nope, that is not the reason. Also, I forgot because I got sidetracked on my first recordings. It also comes with this piece, which is usually on his back. I'll do that when I get back to it. You're going to flip this up and put that in the barrel so that it extends your barrel even further. So you can actually have that also if that's something you want to do. So you're going to put this port into this hole here and do the same on the other side and have the meat in the middle like so. And there we pretty much have that. I'm just having a look to see if that tab, no, that tab will not line up at all. All right, so we're almost done. What we're going to do is we're going to flip this one up and rotate. And that's sort of on a wiggle there. We're going to come around here and bring this out. And we're not quite done yet. We're not quite done, although my barrel's a little bit crooked. All right, we are going to bring in the fire, and you want basically the flames pointing in. So I'm going to place one here, and I'm going to place one here. You can have it a little bit low if you want, but that's what I mean. You have that one port that's under here that holds this in place, but it's not really necessary at all. So I don't quite understand why that was there, because honestly, that looks better that way. All right, we're going to get to articulation in a minute, but you can bring in your sword weapons and, of course, have it however you want. But you can then bring in your other flame pieces. And I'm going to use these ones. So they can tab in there. Interestingly enough, the instructions tell you 2 different spots to put it. Then you have this port here, or the other side. So you got that port there as well. You just plug that into there. And now Megatronus is all flame tanky. He does look amazing, but things don't quite tab in as much as I would like. So there we go. So I'll just take this off because we really don't need that. Articulation wise, it does roll. It does have 4 wheels, 1, 2, 3, 4, and admittedly, it resembles more a Mighty Megatron's tank. So I don't know if that was a coincidence or what. Just going to take these flame effects off. All right, as for turret control, you bring up the arms. It'll get you that far. Don't put too much force, otherwise you might have issues with that. You can individually, if you want, lift up the turret on its own. Personally, I would have liked some tabbing points in the arms. And I know someone might actually say, well, maybe that's why you flipped around the other side. Well, if I flipped it around, so this would have been the inside of the arm, there's no tabbing points at all on both sides. There's nothing here. If something lined up to there, it'd be fine. Now, can it do the thing? Yes, it has a turntable. So, yeah, your arms are going to go weird, but that really only works for this mode because everything else will be tabbed in. So you can do that. But like I said, I just need another tab here somewhere to lock the cannon properly in place. So there we go. And of course, you can angle that stuff mostly however you want. And of course, that does a little bit of tilting, whatnot. So, and of course, you have ports everywhere. You have these two, that one. And of course, the front of the cannon. So there we go. And now I've got all my tracks and everything all weird like. All right, so size comparison. There he is, and I'll put the camera up a little bit. I'm probably going to need it later anyway. There he is with Windblade. So not far off, honestly. Really, really close. So there we go. Drop it down again. All right, let's get him back into alt mode. So we are going to split the arms, get all that out of the way, take out the extended cannon. I'm going to fold this in. Can't believe I left that out. We're then going to fold all this back and bring this up. So that's the Requiem Blaster all ready to go. We are going to bring this down and rotate out. So towards your elbow. Bring that back and make sure that's the right way. Yep. All right. So I have a tendency to start popping things on here. So just carefully get under there. Get your fingers in there, whatnot. Like I said, it holds it real tightly now, but yeah. So we're just going to spread those arms out and up. Just get out of the way. Now this is where I keep popping it off these joints, and they're a little fiddly to actually get back in place. So I'm going to just try underneath without actually pushing them. There we go. There's one. Like, it's not broken, but they are an absolute pain in the butt to actually get untabbed, to tab back in. So I'm just going to fold up his butt plate, and I'm just going to fold this up for now, and I'll try to get this in. Which way? I want to go this way. They are somewhat a pain in the butt to get back in, so I might just get that leg in place, and we'll get the heel back out, fold this foot down, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit of clearance to get where I want. There we go. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It's probably just me because I've popped it off more than a few times. It's just going to keep doing it, but such is life. So that comes down, and this tabs over that. Like I said, I screwed up when we were doing it before. All right, so we pop his leg back into place, extend the back of his calf, bring the foot down, bring the calf back down, and flip that in, and hopefully don't pop anything. All right, we're going to bring these down. We will leave the waist rotation for a moment. All right, let's do the upper body, and I'm just going to rotate his arms down to give me some clearance. So these are started untabbing, but the nail polish still is holding them. Well, maybe not that one, but that one's still pretty firm. So rotate out, and I actually think I am going to need to bring the camera up. This is where I think I need an auto razor or something. I don't know. You tell me. All right, so we're going to bring all this out again. Extend this as far as it'll go. Don't pull it too hard. You will break it. Rotate. And I'm way too close to my own camera. Flip these out and rotate the head. We're going to untab here, rotate, and down. I think I had something in the head not quite turned far enough. Rotate, down. And then we're going to bring it in, bring it back, I should say, and use those two tabs. We're going to bring this down, and we're going to bring this down so that fits in. We want to push all this back so it's reasonably flat. We're going to bring the chest up, and these two parts are going to tab in here, and this is sort of going to accordion down. So this will actually tab into here. So bring it back, make sure all that's like that, and then tab in. And then there is two little tabs. I don't know if I can show it. Probably should show you before. Actually, I can do it this way. Get his arm out of the way. There should be, I think it's, I'm not actually sure where the tab is. It'd be in here, the port would be in here somewhere, but yeah. So keep that extended. Keep it rotated too. Bring that down. It will tab in. So press that in. And of course we can bring the arms down. Fold that joint back. And last but not least, get your nail or whatever in and pop those hands open. Bring that out. Tab it back in. That is probably the tightest tab this thing has, is the forearm tabs. Tab that in. And there is Megatronus. Oh, by the way, you've got these two ports too. that's of any use to you. Megatronus back in his robot mode. Probably turn that light off now since I don't have to show too much. All right, so I'm going to get this guy all armed up, and then we can get down to final size comparison. There we go. He's all back up again. I put his shoulder piece on, which actually does give me a lot of remnants from Megatron's cannon back piece. I suppose you could put it on the other side. There's actually two 5mm ports there that I forgot about. Also, I highly recommend you put the flame effect part on before you put the Requiem blaster on, due to the fact I've done it. To make it easier, and I have forgotten to rotate his torso and rotate his feet. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my blindsidedness or the fact that purple and purple. So yeah, I screwed it up. So yeah, if you're like, what's going on with my legs? That's why. Whoops. Oh, well, I've got to have a stuff up once in a while. Right, so as for size comparisons, and this is going to be interesting. So we'll bring him back there. And tilt up a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Here he is with MP36 Megatron. So Masterpiece Megatron. No Optimus Prime this time because Megatron. I do not have the Studio Series A6 Megatron. I refuse to buy it because it does not turn into a gun mode. I'm sorry, if I'm going to get a Studio Series that's meant to be associated with the actual movie, I want my Megatron to turn into a gun. Tank is fine for the games and all that. Movie, 86 line, should have been a gun. I'm sorry, simple as that. All right, so others we have, because I've got everybody pretty much next to me. Here we have, this is where, here we go. I'm really reaching too. Whoops, sorry, Vector. So here he is with, I'm a little bit behind. There he is with Legacy United Vector Prime. Here he is with Age of the Primes, Primer Prime. Here he is with A Hero is Born, Alpha Trion. And as I'm recording this, I have a 3 currently traveling to me. Here he is with Age of the Primes, Alchemist Prime. Here we have, and hopefully she doesn't fall over. Here she is. Here he is with Age of the Prime's Soulless Prime. Try to straighten things up and keep things focused. And last but not least, especially not in his eyes, Age of the Prime's, oops, my Cronus and my peg is not quite sitting properly. So there is currently all my primes. So as I said, I have A3 currently traveling the postal service. I know it got pushed back to November on one website, but I think that might have been an oopsie or something. Obviously, no sign of Quietus or Amalgamus. And of course, I have Onyx, who probably will come to next. We'll see how we go. So there we go. So if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.